The Appalachian trail guides have a lot of cute stories about the moon-eyed people. If you go to the State Park Visitor Center, you can buy a postcard that describes them as a mythic tribe of short, pale, nocturnal beings that were driven underground by the Cherokee centuries ago. It's a neat little piece of sanitized folklore. It sells t-shirts. But when you actually live out here, you realize that folklore is usually just a warning that's been sanded down by time so people can sleep at night. And the state's very, very good at maintaining those sanded edges. My wife, Lauren, used to be an archivist for the county. She knows how the state hides its nightmares. They don't put them in classified folders stamped with red ink. They put them in the municipal budget. They bury them in public works requests and infrastructure maintenance logs. 3 weeks ago, Lauren was running a comparative analysis on the Department of the Interior's regional budget for the last fiscal decade. She does this when she can't sleep. She looks for the seams in the paperwork. She found a massive recurring line item nested under the heading Abandoned Mine Lands Reclamation. On paper, it looks responsible. The county's supposedly securing old, undocumented coal mines so hikers don't fall in. But Lauren looked at the invoices. They weren't ordering chain link fencing or warning signs. They were ordering thousands of tons of high-density, quick-setting industrial slag concrete. The kind of concrete they use to build blast walls. And they weren't pouring it near the old coal seams. They were pouring it into uncharted sinkholes and deep, natural cave entrances all along the perimeter of Exclusion Zone 4. They aren't securing old mines. They're trying to seal the basement doors. They're capping the natural ventilation shafts that lead down into the deep earth. Because when the barometric pressure drops fast enough, the air in those cave systems gets sucked up to the surface. And whatever's living down there follows the draft. We wouldn't have known exactly what they were trying to lock in if that deputy hadn't pulled the server logs. He dropped a thumb drive in my P.O. box 2 days after the incident. No note, just a raw, uncompressed WAV file. Garrett wasn't a tourist. He grew up in Lantern Bend. He knew the woods, he knew the weather, and he knew to stay out of the exclusion zones. But on a moonless Tuesday night in late November, a massive, unpredicted low-pressure system rolled over the valley. The barometer plummeted in a matter of hours. Garrett was sitting in a freestanding wooden tower blind, roughly 14 feet off the ground on pressure-treated posts, tucked against a mature yellow pine about 3 miles from the nearest paved road. He was running a high-end thermal monocular, waiting for wild hogs. That's an important detail. Thermals don't work like night vision. They read heat signatures. A wild hog or a deer shows up as a bright white silhouette against the cool ambient background of the woods. The only way a high-end thermal scope completely washes out, blinding the user entirely, is if the sensor gets overloaded. It means whatever stepped under Garrett's blind was massive, and it was radiating a sudden, furnace-like wall of thermal energy. A metabolic rate that shouldn't exist in anything biological. The other thing to know before you hear this is that generations in absolute subterranean darkness strips a species of its eyesight. Whatever came up from the cave systems that night was completely blind. But that blindness trades itself for an impossible, hypersensitive awareness of sound and vibration. Keep that in mind when you listen to this tape. According to the timestamp on the file, the call connected to the Lantern Bend dispatch at exactly 2:14 a.m.
Lantern Bend Emergency Dispatch. What's the location of your emergency? Hello?
They're under the tree.
Sir? I can barely hear you. Are you reporting a trespasser? I need your location.
Shh. Please. Please stop talking so loud. My phone speaker is too loud.
Okay, I hear you. I'm right here with you. Are you in immediate danger, sir? Can you give me a landmark?
I'm in a blind. Off the old logging road behind the Miller property, Sector 4. I'm up high. but they're right below me.
Who's below you? Are they armed?
I don't know what they are. My scope, my thermal just went white. It blinded me. I pulled it away from my eye and I looked down over the edge of the plywood.
What did you see, sir? I need to know what I'm sending my deputies into.
Nothing. It's pitch black. I can't see anything. But the air just got so hot. I can feel it rising up through the floorboards. And it smells like wet copper. Like boiling dirt and ammonia. And I can hear them breathing. Oh, God. They heard that. They heard the wood.
Sir, don't move. I'm pinging your phone's GPS right now. Do you have a weapon?
I have a rifle, 30-06, but I can't use it.
Sir, if you're in immediate physical danger, you have the right to defend yourself.
You don't understand. If I shoot, the flash is going to light up the ground. I don't want to see them. I don't want to know what they look like. And the noise. If the noise doesn't scare them off, it's going to tell them exactly where the ladder is. They're touching the posts. They're feeling the wood.
Garrett, stay on the line. I have 2 cruisers en route to the logging road. They're 10 minutes out. Just stay quiet.
They can't find the ladder.
Garrett? Garrett, what's happening?
They can't find the ladder, so they're just going to pull it down.
I drove out to Sector 4 the next morning. I didn't take my truck all the way in. I hiked the last 2 miles, through the brush, staying off the logging road, keeping the wind in my face. I knew I wasn't going to find Garrett. The woods don't leave evidence when they take someone. But I didn't expect to find what I did. When I finally reached the clearing where Garrett's blind used to be, I didn't find splintered wood or a crime scene. I found a Department of Natural Resources perimeter. There were 3 heavy-duty cement trucks parked in the mud, their massive drums churning slowly. 4 men in unmarked coveralls were unspooling a thick industrial hose. Garrett's deer blind was gone. Every piece of shattered pine, every twisted nail, every drop of blood. Scrubbed completely clean. Where the blind used to stand, there was a hole in the earth. It wasn't a sinkhole. It was a breach. It was 20 feet across, the edges crumbling and clawed out from the inside. A tunnel leading straight down into the pitch-black basement of the mountain, still venting thick, foul-smelling steam into the freezing morning air. The men in the coveralls weren't looking for Garrett. They were feeding that massive hose into the breach. I sat in the brush, watching through my binoculars as they pumped 40 tons of quick-setting industrial slag concrete directly into the tunnel. They poured it until the hole was filled flush with the topsoil. Then they packed it down, covered it with dead pine needles, and drove away. The official police report, filed 3 days later, listed Garrett as a missing person. The report stated his deer blind had likely collapsed due to severe structural rot, and that he had wandered off into the woods in a state of disorientation. The report is the system's immune response. It describes what the state can survive knowing. The state can survive a hunter getting lost in the woods. It can't survive the public knowing that there are blind, subterranean giants digging their way up from the cave systems, pulling down architecture with their bare hands to get to the meat inside. So they pour concrete. They seal the doors. And they hope the things underneath us decide to dig in a different direction next time the pressure drops. If you made it to the end of this log, drop Blind Giants in the comments so I know you're keeping your voice down. And tell me, if you were trapped in the dark while something massive was blindly tearing down your only shelter, would you make a run for it? and hope they couldn't track you in the brush? Or would you hold your breath, close your eyes, and hope the wood holds? If you want more raw tapes, intercepted dispatches, and field logs from Lantern Bend, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. The archive's getting bigger every day, and I'm not gonna stop reading from it. Stay safe out there. Check your foundations. I'll see you in the next log.